Hey Dodgers fans, welcome back. We got a ton of updates to unpack today. So get comfortable and let's dive into everything happening in Major League Baseball right now. There's no shortage of chatter around some high-profile players, contract scenarios, and strategic moves that could completely shake up the rosters this season. One name that keeps popping up in discussions is Framber Valdez, a pitcher who has sparked plenty of debate among fans and analysts alike. Coming off a season that had its share of drama, Valdez's performance on the mound is undeniable, but there's more to the story than just stats. The controversy from last season, especially the incident where he miscommunicated with his catcher, has left a mark on his reputation. It wasn't just a simple mistake. The moment was scrutinized for its apparent intentionality, and that raises questions about character and clubhouse dynamics. Now, looking purely at Valdez's ability, there's no question he can contribute at a high level. He has the talent to step in and make an immediate impact on any team's rotation. Teams recognize that his pitching arsenal and left-handed advantage make him a valuable asset. But as many front offices weigh potential acquisitions, character and team fit are just as important as what appears on paper. A player who can dominate on the field but create friction in the locker room presents a risk that some organizations simply cannot afford. For the Toronto Blue Jays, this balance is crucial. They've built a tight-knit roster, a group that relies on chemistry and trust to succeed, and adding a player with potential personality clashes could disrupt that harmony. While Valdez could strengthen their rotation in the short term, the long-term implications for team cohesion cannot be ignored. When examining the Blue Jays' 2026 rotation, it's clear they already have depth and talent. Dylan CE sits at the top, followed by pitchers like Kevin Gausman, Shane Bieber, Cody Pond, and Jose Brios. Each of these players brings experience and skill, and many have contracts that extend into the next few seasons, though some are entering their final year or have opt-out clauses. Adding Valdez into this mix might seem counterintuitive given the existing talent, yet the argument in favor centers around planning for the future. With certain starters approaching free agency or uncertain contract renewals, securing a proven left-handed starter could offer stability beyond this year. It's a strategic move that, if executed correctly, could anchor the rotation while preparing for potential turnover in the coming seasons. But here's where the complications come in. Valdez is not just a high-caliber pitcher. His history of on-field incidents and off-field questions about professionalism make him a gamble. Last season's cross-up with Cesar Salazar, whether intentional or not, revealed a side of Valdez that teams have to consider seriously. When evaluating a player like this, organizations think beyond ERA, strikeouts, and innings pitched. They consider whether the player will mesh with the team culture, whether teammates will fully trust him, and whether his presence could create distractions. For the Blue Jays, who have historically valued character and community engagement, bringing in a player who has raised red flags in this regard may not align with their organizational philosophy. Despite these concerns, the baseball world acknowledges that Valdez's skill level is elite. He can dominate left-handed batters, eat innings, and contribute significantly to a team in need of pitching depth. Other franchises have already shown interest, and the conversation around where he might land has been lively. The Baltimore Orioles and New York Mets appear to be leading candidates to sign him, while other teams like the Detroit Tigers, San Diego Padres, San Francisco Giants, and Atlanta Braves are reportedly in the mix as well. From a purely talent-based perspective, landing a pitcher of Valdez's caliber could be transformative for any of these clubs, but organizational fit remains a critical factor. A team like the Orioles, with less depth in their rotation, could see immediate benefits despite potential character concerns. Meanwhile, for the Blue Jays, the cost-benefit analysis leans more toward caution. Looking at the potential scenarios, if the Blue Jays were to sign Valdez, his placement in the rotation would be a key consideration. Dylan CE remains the unquestioned ace, but Valdez could slot as the number 2 or 3 starter, giving the team a reliable left-handed presence at the top. This could provide insurance against injuries or performance drops from other starters, particularly in seasons where continuity and inning stability are valuable. However, the question remains whether the organizational benefits outweigh the risks associated with integrating a player whose past behavior has drawn scrutiny. The calculus is complex. The talent is there, but the personality dynamics could offset some of the advantages on the field. Another layer to consider is the fan perspective. Baseball supporters often have strong opinions on character issues and how they intersect with performance. Some are willing to overlook past incidents if a player can contribute at a high level, while others prioritize team culture and cohesion above individual talent. For Valdez, this creates a polarizing scenario. Fans are either all in, excited by the potential impact, or cautious, wary of the disruption his presence could introduce. This debate mirrors the internal considerations of a front office weighing long-term strategy against immediate gains. Ultimately, decisions like these are about more than statistics. They reflect a team's values, priorities, and vision for sustainable success. At the same time, the landscape of player acquisitions this offseason has been unusual. Several top-tier talents, including Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette, initially pursued longer-term deals, resulting in strategic pivots by their respective teams. Valdez, reportedly seeking a substantial multi-year contract, fits into this pattern. While his pitching ability is comparable to other high-profile players, the perception of risk and uncertainty regarding team dynamics places him in a unique position. Organizations must weigh potential upside against the possibility of disruption, making the decision to pursue or pass on him far from straightforward. In essence, talent alone does not guarantee a deal. Character and fit remain central to the evaluation process. Even with the complexity surrounding Valdez, it's important to acknowledge that this player has proven his worth over a lengthy career. His performances, particularly in high-stakes moments, demonstrate a level of competitiveness and skill that many teams would find appealing. The question is whether the Blue Jays, with their organizational philosophy and locker room standards, would consider taking that risk. Past experiences, such as the brief tenure of Roberto Osuna, illustrate how quickly relationships can unravel when character concerns surface. The franchise's track record emphasizes that talent must be balanced with integrity and alignment with team culture, reinforcing the cautious approach toward a player like Valdez. Shifting gears a bit, another story that's creating buzz around the league is Max Scherzer and the possibility of him returning to Major League Baseball for another season. At 41, Scherzer has already built a legendary career, but he continues to express a desire to play, showing that he still believes he can contribute at the highest level. There's a lot to consider here, because while his experience and skill are undeniable, his age and recent workload are factors that teams have to carefully weigh. In the 2025 season with the Toronto Blue Jays, he posted an impressive 5.19 ERA with 82 strikeouts, proving that even late in his career, he can handle significant innings. Yet, the question remains, is he the kind of long-term solution the Blue Jays, or any team, can rely on, or is this a situational move to fill gaps in a rotation in need of stability? For the Blue Jays, bringing back Scherzer could be a double-edged sword. On one hand, having a seasoned veteran with postseason experience could be invaluable, especially as the team looks to make another deep playoff run. His knowledge, competitive edge, and ability to mentor younger pitchers like Dylan C.E., Cody Pond, or Jose Brios could enhance the rotation beyond just his on-field statistics. On the other hand, committing to an older pitcher inherently comes with risks, including potential injuries, decreased velocity, and fatigue over the long season. Teams must balance these factors with their roster construction and payroll flexibility, weighing whether Scherzer's presence improves the squad immediately or merely acts as a stopgap until younger talent emerges. What makes Scherzer particularly interesting is his willingness to wait for the right opportunity. He has made it clear that if no immediate fit presents itself, he is prepared to delay signing until after opening day. This shows patience and confidence in his abilities, but also complicates planning for teams who may want him in their rotation from day one. Front offices must evaluate whether they are willing to structure their pitching staff around a player who might join later in the season, or whether they should pursue other options that offer more certainty. It's a scenario that reflects both the competitive nature of the sport and the delicate balancing act of roster management, especially for teams targeting championship contention. Alongside Scherzer, the trade market is another area that is heating up. Teams are actively exploring deals that could reshape their rosters, adding depth and versatility, while also offloading players whose contracts or performance may no longer align with organizational goals. Trades in baseball aren't just about acquiring talent. They're strategic moves that consider team chemistry, future drafts, and long-term flexibility. For a club like the Blue Jays, the challenge is to identify moves that enhance the roster without disrupting the existing culture that has been so carefully cultivated. Every addition carries potential rewards, but every risk must be assessed in terms of both performance and fit. When evaluating pitchers like Valdez or veterans like Scherzer, the same principles apply. Performance alone does not dictate success. Front offices must consider personality, work ethic, and how players handle pressure both on and off the field. The dynamics in the clubhouse influence how well the team functions as a unit, how effectively coaches can implement strategies, and even how younger players develop under the mentorship of veterans. In this sense, baseball is as much about relationships and culture as it is about velocity, ERA, or strikeout numbers. Teams that fail to strike this balance often struggle to maintain consistency over a long season. Fan perspectives add yet another layer of complexity to these discussions. Supporters are highly invested in the outcomes and often have strong opinions on the type of players their team should acquire. Some prioritize raw talent, advocating for any move that could increase the team's chances of winning in the short term. Others value character and team cohesion, preferring a more cautious approach, even if it means passing on a high-profile acquisition. The debate over players like Valdez perfectly illustrates this divide. The same talent that excites one segment of fans raises red flags for another. For the organization, managing these perceptions while maintaining focus on internal evaluations is a constant balancing act. The Blue Jays' approach this offseason seems rooted in caution and long-term planning. While adding a left-handed pitcher or a veteran like Scherzer could strengthen the rotation, each potential move is evaluated against the broader picture. Stability, culture, and community engagement are all factors that weigh heavily in decision-making. Toronto's management appears committed to ensuring that any addition complements the existing team rather than introducing unnecessary risk. This philosophy has been evident in past acquisitions, where the club prioritized players who fit the roster's character as much as its skill requirements. Looking forward, the upcoming weeks are critical for both trade negotiations and free agent signings. The league is in a period of transition, with several high-profile contracts set to expire, new talents emerging from minor leagues, and the ongoing shuffle of veteran players exploring opportunities for the next chapter in their careers. Each decision has a ripple effect across divisions and can influence playoff races, competitive balance, and the overall trajectory of a franchise. For the Blue Jays, careful navigation of this period could position them for sustained success, provided they make strategic moves that strengthen the roster without compromising culture or cohesion. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. Whispers are stirring in Los Angeles as the Dodgers reportedly took the unexpected step of interviewing a former championship-winning coach. Sources close to the team suggest the move is less about immediate upheaval and more about strategic caution, a way of keeping options open in an increasingly unpredictable baseball landscape. While the Dodgers have maintained a stable coaching structure in recent seasons, insiders hint that the front office is quietly considering long-term contingencies and bringing in a high-profile figure, even if only temporarily, sends a signal that no scenario is off the table. The identity of the coach, whose resume boasts a coveted championship title, has only fueled speculation. Known for turning underperforming rosters into contenders and extracting peak performance from veteran players, the coach's track record aligns with the Dodgers' reputation for blending star talent with shrewd roster management. Some analysts argue that even a brief consultation could ripple through the team, influencing training regimens, lineup experimentation, and off-season planning. While some see this as a precautionary measure, others interpret it as a subtle message to players and fans alike. The organization is not complacent. In professional sports, whispers of a potential successor often ignite more attention than the actual move, and the Dodgers appear keenly aware of that dynamic. The mere act of engaging a championship-caliber coach can spark conversations about philosophy, leadership, and culture, setting the stage for potential shifts in strategy without committing to a full change. Speculation has intensified over how such a figure might fit into the Dodgers' existing hierarchy. Would they serve as a mentor to the current staff, or is this a probing exercise to gauge interest in a future transition? The answers remain opaque, but the intrigue is unmistakable. For now, the baseball world watches, questions mounting with every cryptic statement from the front office. Whether this signals a looming shakeup or simply prudent contingency planning, the interview has already succeeded in stirring the imagination of fans and pundits alike, leaving Los Angeles abuzz with rumors that may shape the narrative of the team for months to come. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.